way, Jose.
Red Hot Gotti, come subscribe, come subscribe, come subscribe, come subscribe.
No way.
Red Hot Gotti. Alright, so today I am making a part 2 to my other video, basically going over Spider-Man Insomniac version versus Miles Morales Insomniac version, basically both Spider-Man games. Now, today I'm going to be talking about who has the better character. And in all my videos, right, for this little series, mini series, I guess, it's going to be basically who has the better suits, the better character, the better villains, the better story, and the better supporting characters. Now, for the last video, it was about the suits, and I gave it to Peter. For this video, I'm also giving it to Peter, but it's basically about character. Now, I'm spoiling it right now. So I kind of actually explain why. And obviously, I think this could actually go either way, but in general, I just want to explain why I think personally I enjoy Spider-Man's characterization in the first game rather than Miles Morales. Also, comment, subscribe, give some support to the channel. I want to keep making these videos. They're entertaining. I really love doing them. Get my thoughts out there and stuff like that. Seeing some engagement. So yeah, just keep it up. Now, the one reason I'm actually giving it to Peter is because he just has a better personality. Now, the reason I said this is kind of interchangeable is because, it could be Miles, but it also could be Peter, because I think Miles has a more down-to-earth kind of aspect to him that is really interesting for a character like him, a Spider-Man. But I think Peter has more of a funny aspect to him, he's more of the jokey character of the two. And I honestly like that aspect of him more than just being relatable, I guess you could say. I'd say the difference between these two is one character has kind of started being a superhero just recently, within the last a year or a couple months in the actual game, both games at least, and the other has been trained for 8 years in this sort of aspect of life, being a superhero and stuff. And he knows the ropes, he's done this for a long time, and he quips, he still has fun while doing it. But, you can tell he's more versed with everything he's doing and just a lot smarter with it. And I just like that aspect of him where, you've already seen this character in other iterations, cartoons, movies, TV shows. And you get to see him again, a lot older, and I just really love that. Now, with Miles, overall, I don't love his character as much, either outside or inside this universe, the Insomniac universe, and outside of that, in the comics or the TV shows or whatever. So, yeah, I guess it's a personal aspect when it comes to personality, but the one objective quality I can give him is just, the quips, they fit well with the story, and I guess, I don't know, it's just more lighthearted, yeah. Now, when it comes to their character arcs, I would say both their character arcs are really good. I would say the Miles Morales one could almost actually be better objectively, just because it's not dragged out at all. I'm not saying the first game's story wasn't was dragged out or wasn't dragged out. I'm just simply saying I think Miles' story obviously is shorter, I think, and it's a lot tighter story overall. It has less villains, less supporting characters, everything like that. And it just works, it's kind of weird, just the whole aspect of Spider-Man just leaving, Peter leaving to go on a vacation so that Miles could do all the stuff in the game. But I guess it was good enough. He needed some excuse to leave Peter somewhere else, while Miles could actually learn how to use his powers when it comes to his electricity, setting him apart, his invisibility also setting him apart. You learn about the Prowler, who was cool in Into the Spider-Verse. You learn about different characters like Finn, who becomes the Tinkerer, stuff like that, who I don't know, is a weird character in the comics. They definitely changed a lot about the character, but I think the Tinkerer was fine. I'm not super crazy about her. I think it's a he too in the comics, but yeah, whatever. They changed a lot. It's fine. I think the character works. I don't think it really hit me as much when Finn died in the end of the end of the game. I just think, I don't know, it was kind of hollow. But when Aunt May died, and then Doc Ock was defeated, there was a lot of feels there. I'm not gonna lie. I felt, I didn't cry or anything. You know what I mean? Nothing like that. I'm not trying to be dramatic about it, but I just felt more playing that game, and I feel there was more emotion tied to that than what happened at the end of Miles Morales. I would say Miles Morales, the game, the story is more about like, what if you gave someone, you know, besides Peter, like these cool spider powers, right? And see what would happen with their life, and you know, the characters, the supporting characters around them, and see what type of villains they would develop. They would have to fight, and they would have to stop. And see if the villains would die, or you know, go to jail. You know, they would still live. See what would happen to the hero, how he would develop as a person. And Miles definitely did develop a good amount. His powers developed. He became stronger, faster, all that other stuff. It's just like, it's really interesting to see a supporting character become someone so prominent. But I still think overall that Peter's story, you know, just being a veteran with all this, not veteran, but like he essentially, like he has been doing this for 8 years, you know, a long time, and he's starting to, you know, wear down a little bit, because you know, he's still having the same issues he had when he was a teenager. You know, you see in every Spider-Man comic or like cartoon and stuff like that, he's struggling with like family issues and stuff like that. Definitely with Aunt May and Feast, and obviously that element of Spider-Man was always the most interesting. It's not even just the fighting or anything. It's just seeing how he's gonna handle both of his the double life aspect. And I think overall it's just better in the first game. And I just, obviously when it comes to like MJ, I have issues. I have issues with like a lot of different versions of MJ. I gotta be honest, actually, now that I think about it. But other than that, you got like MJ, or not MJ, freak. Aunt May is what I meant to say. You have Miles in the first game, which is really good. He was really good in that, and that's why I love him in the second one. But you also have, you know, Martin Lee is like sort of like you think he's one of the good guys in a way, but then he becomes a villain. You also have Doc Ock, who also becomes a villain later on, and he, you know, was built up as this really close person to Peter, basically essentially his friend or mentor, actually, is a proper way to put it. And just all that stuff. Now obviously in the second game you get Miles and his mother and stuff like that, and then you get Genki. I said Ned. I was thinking about the freaking Tom Holland version. Jesus. They literally stole Ned. That's ridiculous. If y'all didn't know, like Ned or Genki actually is essentially Ned. They stole that. Yeah. It's irritating though. But yeah, Genki, and you know, I just really like, and also, you know, I guess you could say the Prowler and stuff, but yeah, overall I just like the supporting characters in the first game. I would say the dialogue, you know, when it comes to Peter just, you know, giving advice to Miles, and, you know, talking with MJ, you know, them hashing out their ideas, their mindsets on, you know, who should be going out, you know, solving crime and helping each other out and stuff like that. Like, I just like that Peter is very consistent, you know, wants to help people and stuff like that, but he also wants to keep his loved ones safe, and, you know, doesn't want MJ to be doing a bunch of dumb crap, which he does throughout the whole freaking game. No, the one thing I don't like, and this is why, like, I'm actually going to give this to Miles in terms of, like, I think Miles is more consistent. But the only reason, you know, overall I gave it to Peter is because the other aspects of the, of his, like character arc, his character. But yeah, I don't like sometimes how Peter just, like, he just chickens out of in terms of not actually, you know, standing up for himself, and he's kind of a wimp sometimes. And obviously, like, Spider-Man's kind of a nerd. He's kind of like a, like, he's not, I wouldn't say shy, but he's like, he cares about people a lot, and he doesn't want to, like, step on anyone's shoes. So, like, I get that aspect of him, but it's kind of irritating. That's why I like Miles more in terms of that personality aspect. Is that he's obviously kind and not willing to, like, just say a bunch of, like, mean stuff to someone who doesn't actually deserve it, right? Same thing with Finn. Like, he wasn't just, like, super rude to Finn just because he found out she was a villain. He still tried to save her, help her out, and then Finn turned on him, you know, tried to kill him, and yeah, then he had to handle that. But he never, like, disrespected her in any way, kind of thing. And he still stood his ground, I would say. I actually respected him throughout the game more so than I did with, like, Peter. So overall, I would have to get that to Miles, but the other categories go to Peter. Motivation kind of goes in line with, like, you know, the character arc and stuff like that. Overall, I just think, you know, Peter's character arc is more like interesting, you know, him, you know, doing the double life stuff, trying to handle and like juggle both of those. It's a balance kind of thing. You know, seeing Doc Ock's development, you know, as he, you know, has to deal with that and try to help him out. You know, it's stuff like that. I would say this could actually go either way, just because I love Miles having to, you know, save a specific part of New York City, and that's Harlem. So you get like a personal aspect of Harlem, which is a lot cooler than just having Feast, because and yeah, I would say Peter actually has the whole city. Like, he has Feast, but he mainly just, he goes throughout the whole city. You know, you could say Doc Ock's lair as well, Doc Ock's lab, and, you know, his own home. He also has like connections to, so he has multiple places. But I feel like Miles is just specifically because he lives in Harlem, so it's like, and it's kind of cool too, because Luke Cage actually lives in Harlem as well. At least like he did in the Netflix series. I don't know if he does in general, but I'm pretty sure he does. And that's just really cool, because it just kind of reminds me of that, you know, another black character, very strong character, strong in terms of his plot and his actual like characterization, not just his powers. But yeah, I just really love, you know, everything about what Miles is trying to do, and also he's trying to save his best friend Finn, you know, so he has a personal connection to the antagonist. I don't even want to say villain, you know, it's more like, she's more like an anti-hero, but she's a villain at the same time, because she's really, she screwed up for what she was doing in that game. I'm not even gonna lie, like, just trying to like destroy the building that was connected to was it Roxxon? It's just like, it was really stupid. Like, honestly, I was irritated with her as a character, and I'm glad, you know, she turned around in the end. But it's like, yeah, but I more so care about just Miles, you know, relationship with her, and just like wanting to save her. That's really what bought it for me. Like, that's what really made me buy everything that was happening with the plot, basically. I would also say this is probably, you know, this could go either way, but I would say Peter overall, again, I love Aunt May as a character. I love her in basically every iteration. I love her in this one, where she, you know, really tries to help Peter. She does not tell him that she knows that he's Spider-Man, but she still, you know, wants him to go out and help people, and, you know, do it very discreetly, you know, without her like having to like chime in with that. You know, she wants to keep it a secret. MJ, you know, she knows already, you know, in some iterations she doesn't, but I'm glad that she was of help. I just don't like what she did throughout the whole like game. And it was kind of irritating, because I wanted Peter to, you know, stand up for himself, and, you know, either tell her off or just break up with her or whatever, because like, she's being very irritating throughout the game. And, you know, yeah, it's just like, I really felt bad for Peter throughout the whole game. And he really has a lot of resolve. That was the other thing I wanted to say. He has a lot of resolve throughout this whole game, for characters that are very irritating, and also characters that betray him. And for that, it's very tragic and awesome, because he also has characters who really care about him, like MJ and Aunt May, which is good contrast, I'd say. So yeah, overall, I would say this one goes to Peter in terms of his character overall. Some of those points went to Miles, because I think Miles overall is a really good character. His story is really, you know, good. Overall, again, I don't think it's better than the first game, but maybe that's a bit subjective. I'll really have to sit down, like, go through everything in the game, because I haven't replayed it yet. I was actually going to do that for this video, but I haven't. But yeah, maybe I could do that in the future, actually. Maybe I'll change my mind. But overall, comment, subscribe, like, and I'll see you guys later. Peace!
No way, Jose.
Red Hot Gotti, come subscribe, like, come subscribe, like, come subscribe, like, come subscribe.